overarching research theme that I pursue is how college environment and collegiate experiences impact on minoritized students from the diverse background, especially for supporting their holistic well-being. So when it comes to holistic well-being, we don't really say, I'm healthy because I'm physically healthy. You cannot really say that because you have a different area of well-being. The mental health, mental well-being, emotional well-being, social well-being, academic well-being, occupational well-being, physical well-being, and etc., etc. So there are multiple layers of well-being. So I noticed that not just for one area of well-being, there are multiple areas of the well-being that we can tell, oh, I am well, oh, I am happy, oh, I am healthy. So that's how I looked at to support those marginalized students. So I really tried to support those multiple area of well-being in terms of how their experiences and how college environment impact on their multiply layered well-being of their experiences. There are three main focus on my research. The first focus is international students, their mental health and well-being. Like I shared, as a former international student, I also identify myself as international faculty member who is living and working for the US higher education system. So I noticed that there are a lot of areas that the US-centric mental health research cannot really cover when it comes to international students and international faculty members' mental health and well-being. So I saw that the need how international students and international faculty go through struggle, and they also have those stigmatism around the mental health because of the cultural differences. So I noticed that there's a gap in the literature and the current US-centric culture on the mental health and well-being. So I tried to bring the unique experiences and struggles and mental health stigmatism that international students experience here in the US society. So that's one of the area of my research. The second research focus is equity, discrimination, and well-being among racially minoritized population. So the US is pretty central for the race and racism, and these days, even after pandemic, there's another term called racial pandemic. So people are really aware of the race and racism. So in terms of the race and racism, I also noticed that there are certain populations that are really focused on that race and racism research. And there are certain populations that have received less attention in terms of the racialized experiences and their experiences on race and racism. So I tried to focus on those marginalized groups within the topic of racism to support and advocate their experiences. For example, in addition to my research on international students' mental health, I also noticed that international students of color, their experiences on the race and racism in the US society is a little different because international students of color used to be the majority in their home country, and once they come to the US, their identity shifts from the majority group to the marginalized group. So there are very unique experiences of racialization, and racism is also one of those topics and that I focus on my second research agenda. The third one is cultural responsive learning environment. So for this focus of the research agenda, I tried to support how marginalized students, they experience in the US-centric the culture-based learning environment and how we can support by providing more culturally responsive, culturally sensitive classroom and learning environment. So those are a brief introduction of my research. With that, these are some of my highlighted and selected publications based on those three topics. And I only placed recent publications here, and then if you can scan this QR code, it will directly link to my publication website, and then in that website, each PDF file will be presented there so that you can check all those published articles. Lastly, I'd like to introduce the research lab that I direct. It's called the Better Tomorrow Study Lab. So the acronym is BTS Lab. So we have nothing to do with the BTS K-pop group, but we actually, one of our current study that we are conducting is the impact of BTS music to the college students' mental health and suicidal behavior. So just to let you know. So through the BTS lab, we do, these are some of the activities that we engage. So we conduct a writing group. So we we periodically meet together and then write together and then try to work on the publication. This is one of the major national conference that we present together. This is a workshop they created to support international students. This is an International Scholars Coffee Hour that we created the last fall 2022. We even wrote a letter to the president when there was a ban against the international students immigration law when under the pandemic situation. So we are working to provide help and support the marginalized students, especially for international students. So this is how we support the community that we care. So BTS Lab. If you are interested in joining us for the BTS Lab, and then if you want to make the better tomorrow for those populations, please come and join. Thank you so much for listening.